I get asked this question by Canadians all of the time. So, Clarence, why did you leave your hot, beautiful country and migrate to Canada? He cheated on me with a younger girl. Hey, my love buds. Welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, I just want to thank you for coming here. I never have the time at my disposal to answer the real question. I always say to them, I love a balanced life. I want to have the best of both worlds, the best of Canada and the best of St. Vincent and Grenadines. But I've never really gotten to tell them the real truth, because most of the time the question is being asked at my workplace, and I don't really want to get into any nitty-gritty regarding my private life up in Ayasso. Here is the real reason why I migrated from my island St. Vincent and Grenadines, where it's sunshine 24/7 up in Ayasso, to this icebox called Canada. As you can see here in the photo, with the backdrops of the banana leaves that was grown in St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the time, this is the place where I stayed last in St. Vincent and the Grenadines before migrating to Canada back in 2002. I zoom it in for you to see how unhappy I was, uncertain I was of my future, leaving the known, didn't know what to expect in the unknown. Trust me, I felt as though I was forced out of the country against my will, my emotional will, that is. But I knew that my emotional well-being was supposed to be my number one priority at the time. The announcement was made for me to board Air Canada. So this is me climbing the stairs, but homegirl has to turn back and take a photo. Yes, so after 23 years, I think these are the only photos I've had. The other photos from my youth, from my teenage years, from my high school years, I've lost all of them back in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In 2002, I thought I was living the picture perfect life. I was already a qualified teacher, having graduated with the University of the West Indies Teacher Education, administered at the St. Vincent and Grenadines Teachers College, and I was waiting on Service Commission to appoint me as a qualified teacher. I was already living with my fiancé up in Ayasso. Everything was just perfect at the time. And oh boy, he cheated on me with a younger girl. I was only 29 years old and the girl was like 19, 20 up in Ayasso. So he chose a younger woman than me. And so it was really hard for me to deal with. When I really got a hold of myself, I decided I don't want to stay in St. Vincent and the Grenadines anymore. I want to just go somewhere, even if I have to just start over my life. And that's what I did. But let me tell you guys, when I came here, it was rough and tough. Canada was not easy back in 2002. First of all, the weather was harsh. I migrated to Montreal, Quebec. The weather was harsh. It was terrible. My first winter was a rough one. I came at a time when the country had not seen that type of rigid winter than the one that I met in 2002. It was minus 50 up in Ayasso. I remember walking to work in a minus 50, and oh boy, frostbite was everywhere. And I started pondering, why did I leave my beautiful sunshine country to come into this ice cold box up in Ayasso? But then again, I was emotionally hurting, and I didn't care if I was thrown in a den with lions in order to feel safer in an environment that can allow me to move on from the pain and the hurt that I left back behind. I'm just set up in Ayasso. So that is the reason why I migrated from my country. It wasn't because I wanted better opportunity. It wasn't because I wanted to have a better life. I already had a life there. I was already set there. My job was pensionable. My job had a gratuity set with it. I just walked away and left everything behind and chose to come here, where I have to babysit children, where I had to clean people's toilets. The price that I had to pay for my emotional well-being. And I was happy to do it because I knew that that was only a period of time that would bring me to this place in my life right now, where I am living my absolute best life up in Ayasso as a Canadian citizen. Child, when I tell you, my experience wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I had to start all over. I want you to picture in your mind you having gone to college in your island, having had all of the credentials to be able to teach in your island on the professional level, and you have to walk away from that where your monthly salary was secured by the government to come to a place where you have to literally beg your bread. First of all, I came here. I came on a visitor's visa. The 6 months was up, and after that I was full-blown illegal up in here. So I had to do what I had to do in order to make ends meet, because at the time I was undocumented after the 6-month period, and I had to do whatever it took for me to survive. When I came to Canada, I knew I would never marry anyone for papers. I knew I didn't want to live with people so that they can be all up in my business up in here. So I wanted to work for everything. I wanted to fight for everything. I wanted to be responsible for my own future. I want to be responsible for my own life. Yes? And so guys, here we are. Do I regret migrating to Canada? Sometimes I do, because when I think in retrospect, had I realized that emotional pain would go away after a while, I would have stayed home and kept my job, right? I would have already owned my own house in St. Vincent and Grenadines. I think I would have already achieved more in my island as a qualified teacher than being in Canada, where I had to start all over again. Then I got setbacks after setbacks. You have certain issues in Canada to deal with, like racism, discrimination, you know, where you also have where the Canadian system reject your educational criteria that you come here with. So you have to start from scratch. It's a rough and tumble and rumble in this country. It wasn't easy. It was not easy. So in retrospect, if I knew what I know now, I would have stayed home. I would have stayed home, because I think I would have been in a much better position to retire properly with a government pension. I'm just saying up in a yes, so. Do you regret migrating from your country if you're from the Caribbean? If so, drop it in the comments. Is your life better off than when you migrate, or worse off? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching. And remember, no matter what you do, never try to put out another person's light in order for you to be able to shine. God bless you.